Hello, I welcome you all in the lecture series of memory, and as we studied earlier about the underlying neural mechanism of various memory processes, today let me take you to the concept and the idea of mnemonics. The idea of mnemonics is that it is a technique which helps a person to improve their ability to remember things. The way they can remember the information for long duration of time, and this technique seems to be an old and ancient technique which is been part of the Greek culture. So, memory technique is used to help your brain not only to encode the information, but also when the encoding gets better, then the recall seems to be easier, and this encoding and recall for the important information, the information which holds crucial details, crucial components to execute the task and reach towards our goal. Now, these detailed information has its unique properties and has unique characteristics. Hence, the technique is required in order to hold these unique information or characteristics of these information in a better and systematic and organized way. So, as you can see, the mnemonics, the word is starting with two letters mn. This is the beginning of the word which is coming from the Greek goddess of memory, that is Mnemosyne, and the second part monic is coming from the word harmonica or harmonic or harmony. So, this suggests that the information which one has to inquire or which one has to encode or recall, if there is a harmony in that information, if there is a harmony in the encoding of that information, then it seems that this technique is providing an assistance and aid to the person to hold the information, to hold the crucial and relevant information for a long period of time. The example of this can be seen with the rainbow colors. As you can see on the screen, the cartoon is showing the rainbow colors. This colors is starting from one end to the another end, starting from red and going to violet. Between this range of colors of red and violet, several different wavelengths of colors are there, and if we start from red, then red, orange, yellow, blue, green and violet. Sometimes in order to remember these colors, we start from violet and then violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, which we call it as VIBGYOR. So, most of us have learned this letter of the rainbow colors. 7 colors are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here what we are saying is that if there is an harmony, so the letters like can be separated as Roy, G, Biv, and this made up name can be remembered laster, can be remembered for a long period of time. And how we have done this? We have done this thing using a technique of using a meaningful words. Now, such process we have discussed earlier also about the chunking, where a meaningful word can be chunked together, which provide an easiness for the users to remember, like logy and psycho, biology, bio and logy. Similarly, we also studied about the neuropsychopharmacology. Now, we know that such long letters cannot be remembered easily, so we have chunked them into 4: neuro, psycho, pharmo and cology. Okay. So, first use of mnemonic device, if we talk about, as I was telling you, it dates back to Greek period. So, the Greek poet Simonides introduced this method which is being still used. The method which he introduced is the association if people are making an association and remembering the words, it is long lasting. There should be a locus, there should be a center, and around that center the words has to be tied together or knotted together. So according to the legends, Simonides gave a speech at a banquet sponsored by Scopas, and Scopas organized this event where Simonides not only gave the speech, but rather than praising Scopas or talking about the achievements and things related to Scopas, he was praising only the gods. Scopas got upset, and then he decided to not to pay the money to Simonides, and he paid him only half amount. This angered the god and he killed all the guests except Simonides. When Simonides was being left alone in that place, then he started to remember the people who were present there at that time, so that he can provide the information to the family members of those people who died away at that event. Is not only the concern was to provide the information to the family members body, but in order to remember the people present there, he used the method of loci. The method of loci till date is being used in order to remember the information, and Simonides memorized the seating arrangement of the people, keeping one person at the center, and then the another members, all the members, their positioning, he tried to associate it with the locus. Now, and this is what people generally do in order to remember the series of letters, series of words, they try to anchor at one point, and that is what Simonides also did. He used his imagination technique. The method of loci seems to be using an imagery based learning. Imagination is being used. In this imagery based learning, the goal is to capitalize not our only good visual memory, but this good visual memory is aiding us in learning more difficult, ambiguous, complex verbal information. Now this ambiguous information or complex information or difficult problems need to be remembered for long period of time, but if you visualize them, then this visualization seems to be long lasting. There is a strategy is used to associate the difficult to be learned information with the existing well known visual memories. So if any complex information is coming to the individual to learn, then the individual try to use this complex information and try to associate with the existing visual information. The existing visual memories try to then, with this association, tries to make the information long lasting. So here the visual imagination or visual association seems to be very beneficial for the people to learn and remember the complex information. Now imagery based learning, though forming a strong association between the two new information, which is ensuring that the encoding will be good, but we have to also understand same time the same visual memory is going to be shared by other information as well. Though we try to associate the visual existing memory with the new information in a unique way, but still the chances of overlap, the chances of similarity is very high, though they may not be identical in nature. The method of loci, if you see a cartoon on the right hand side, this image is having several components and elements in it, and you may see that the elements have been numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 and 14. 14 items have been localized. So the method of loci, what it does, using a visual imagery method to associate this new list with well known spatial locations. So what you see on your screen are locations. These visual locations need to be associated and learned. Familiarity with the particular landscape is important. So if you are familiar with the landscape, it assists you in the learning and making a person respond quick and fast. The new items to be learned can be anything like a grocery list. Each one of us has a long list of grocery when we go to the market, and to remember each and every item present on that list is a very tedious and complex task. Imagine when you forget this list at home, then the task becomes more complex in nature. So how individuals remember the list of items is they associate the items on the list with well known location in our mental landscape. So if this map which you are seeing, where the 14 elements have been identified and located, similarly the information in our brain is having a spatial map where these items seems to be located. So if the locus is the front gate, this is the front gate. If locus is the front gate, which you are referring as the bed, the entrance you are referring as a butter, the window you are referring as salad dressing, the door knob and as a toilet paper. So the items bread, butter, salad, toilet paper. If these 4 items need to be brought in, these information is being associated with the spatial map of your house. Similarly, people try to map these information, map the list of items with the context or the mental landscape for the easiness. This detailing and description of method of loci is been also mentioned in detail in The Art of Memory by Luria in 1969. So another method is the keyword technique. The keyword technique, as the word itself is indicating, you provide the relevant word, the important word, and once you have those important and relevant word, it may help you in the recall, it may even help you in the encoding. So here we employ the visual imagery, where the pair associate learning is being used to form new vocabulary, and this new vocabulary is the foreign language vocabulary. Most of the time the bilingual or multilinguals, when they are learning a third language or second language, the visual imagery and the pair association seems to be a major contributor and helpful in this regard. Creating an image that links a word in the language. So the word for a particular word, an image is being retrieved, an image is being assigned, and when we are talking about the selection of the image, this image provides an aid to the individual to learn the new words. Now the word in the language that we are learning, so many a time a new word is there and the word which exists in your own language is also there. So sometimes people image a word, bring that image of a word from their language to the L2 or L3. Now the Spanish word arbol, for instance, meaning tree, can be linked with the English word arbor, meaning a grove of trees. So the word arbol, meaning tree, can be associated or linked with the grove of trees. So in English word arbor means grove of trees. In Spanish, when arbol is there, when the letter only L or R is being changed, the same image can be used in learning the second language, which in this case is Spanish. Now another technique which people have been using, like the method of loci, is the peg word mnemonic. This utilizes not only the visual but auditory memory system. Here the both system, visual memory system and auditory memory system are doing the handshake. So first we should know the auditory list, like all the teachers from the elementary school from kindergarten to 5th standard. We need the auditory list. Then to be remembered, the items are associated with the name of the teacher. Then we do the comparison. Supplementing the sounds by forming images related to the name of the item on the list, such as salad is green. So we are providing the image to the item itself. So here also, when we are seeing this, 1 is a gun, 2 is a shoe, 3 is a tree, 4 is a door, and so forth. So to investigate this concept and idea of peg word technique, Pavio did a simple experiment which helped initial encoding, but subsequent memorization is better done by a more meaning driven encoding. We have to understand that the information which has more meaning into it seems to be long lasting. The information which has less meaning into it and is ambiguous and complex in nature seems to be forgotten very easily. The trace consolidation of the meaningful information or the familiar information or dominant or high frequency information seems to be long lasting. So in this peg word technique, what do? We associate letters with the image or with the information. So letters are being associated with the image. 1 is a gun, 2 is a shoe, 3 is a tree, 4 is a door, 5 is a hive, 6 is a stick, 7 is goes to heaven, 8 is weight, 9 is red wine, 10 is pen. Such associations, such learning and such peg word technique provide an assistance to the individual who needs to learn and remember huge amount of information. Now it is important for us to understand also the interactive versus the bizarre imagery. Many a time the imagery learning which we have discussed could be very bizarre in nature, and sometimes these imageries are very interactive. So which is long lasting, where we are remembering the information longer than the other. So bizarre imagery is not mnemonic but a memory aid. Bizarre imagery is not a technique to remember the information, but it is providing a memory aid. What is it? What kind of aid it is providing? Let us see with the isolation effect. Create a visual von Franz-Restorff effect, the isolation effect, which takes an advantage of the visual imagery and the power of distinctiveness to improve the memory. So when we talk about the distinct characteristics of the item, you can see 4 wheel pram, but here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 wheels pram. This is bizarre. This is distinct. Axe, but here another 3-sided axe. So this is 1-sided axe. This is a 3-sided axe. Now, one point we are discussing about the distinctiveness. So this is very distinct from this. 3-sided axe, 1-sided axe, 12-wheel pram, 2-wheel pram, 4-wheel pram, sorry. And this distinctiveness is providing an aid to the individual to remember. Woolen, Weber and Lowry in 1972 asked their participants to use bizarre interactive imagery such as this 3-sided axe, and this interactive images, if not bizarre, led to the best memory recall. If they are not bizarre, this is very interactive image. As a result, the unique and distinct information which this 3-sided axe is having ensures the better recall. The recall is going to be highly accurate relating to the non-interactive images or rote encoding. So what we have studied in this? We have studied about the name mnemonics and from where it is coming, the technique, how this technique is being used for the first time by the Greek poet, and how he used it, the method of loci to remember these words. Even we discussed about the imagery based learning, we learned about the keyword technique, and further we discussed about the peg word mnemonic and how this is contributing in remembering the relevant information for long period of time, and the information which is more interactive and the information which is bizarre in nature seems to be long lasting. So either the uniqueness is there, distinctness is there in the information or the list of items, or the information is more interactive. So if an individual has to learn a list of items, and when the negative words start to appear in the list of positive items or neutral items, this bizarre imagination, this dissimilarity makes the individual to remember the information long lasting. Or else, if the list of items are more interactive, people seem to engage themselves, then also this recall and encoding seems to be better in nature. Bizarre imagery can be seen as a surprise element also, and once the surprise element is there, then the encoding and retrieval becomes effective and accurate in nature. With this, we end this session here. In the next lecture, we are going to start with memory reconsolidation and the boundary condition of memory. Thank you.